We are sitting here with Gary Villarreal at the Richmond Tattoo Festival. It's the educational portions of the festival this weekend. Gary, thank you for taking the time to sit down with us. Can you tell everybody what you do and where you're from?
Yeah, so what I do for a living is I'm a concept artist. So I work for Method EXP, and I do a little work for Method Studios, which is like the VFX side. And what I do is more the VR, AR. And so the concept art is essentially just trying to come up with ideas for the, let's say, creative director or clients. If they have like a specific issue they need to solve, right? Okay, we need a particular environment that looks like this. And that's when I just try to, come up with many ideas for people, for them to get like inspired and be like, okay, yeah, I like this direction. Let's take it, let's move it on to take it down to the pipeline. Like what I mean about pipeline is like the 3D modelers and etc. Lighting guys and all that. So that's essentially, in a nutshell, that's what I do.
How'd you get to where you're at?
Honestly, it's persistence. I kept on doing it every day. I kept on painting, and when I quit that job with corporate, that's when I was doing those 30-minute paintings, and a friend hit me up randomly, and he called me up at night. It was like, hey dude, the job where I'm working at, we're looking for somebody for a concept artist. And I was freaking out because like, dude, this is Los Angeles. Come on, small town boy. And we ended up sending my stuff, and I was like, okay, it's not gonna happen, whatever. It's 30-minute paintings, who knows? The creative director saw it, he was like, I like this guy, he does different things. We need that for a studio that's just starting off, right? And that's how it ended up. So a random call.
Did you go to college for art?
I kind of did and I didn't. So Texas A&M at the time, it was like a mixture with tech and like art, right? But they were more focused on the tech side. But I did have some like awesome professors that were artists, and they taught me a lot of things. Like for example, Joshua Bianco, he taught me how to see the anatomy, like how to break down the forms and how to gauge how far apart certain body parts are, so that when you're drawing it, you can like, okay, you can map it out. You can map out the body instead of just drawing what you see. You know what I mean?
But during the presentation, you just mentioned about measuring body parts, and one of the styles of tattooing is it's called, more commonly referred to as new school tattoos, where it accentuates features of the face or the body. Can you talk about possibly realistic proportions versus the new school proportions?
Let me see. Well, the realistic proportions, they're just realistic. They're according to the body. But I think when it comes to the accentuating the forms and everything, you got to know what body part to kind of emphasize. Like if some people want to emphasize the head or something like that, you got to know you can't go too far at the same time, unless you just want to push the style, and which is cool. I guess it all depends on personal preference, and yeah, I wonder if that answers the question.
No, you're fine. Yeah. I know a lot of people go to school for art, and making a transition from college to real world career can sometimes be difficult. How important do you think it is? I know obviously a college degree and a solid portfolio would be the best combination.
Yeah.
But is college really necessary to make it?
I'm going to say it is and it isn't. And the reason why it's cool, to go to, let's say, art school, whatever, you get to know people. It's kind of like the networking, right? However, you could learn a lot of the stuff outside of school. Right? There's so many things online that you could learn from. Like, I don't want to say any things. I don't know how.
On YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube literally YouTube. Yeah, like for example, if you want to do concept art, Google it up and say, what is concept art on YouTube? And I promise there's like a ton of people that could even explain it better, because that's what they do, on YouTube.
Can you briefly talk about what your seminar was about today?
So my seminar today was pretty much about the creative journey and some of the issues that we go through as creatives. A lot of people don't know that we all, we're all on the same journey. We go through issues. There's some downtimes and there's some times where we struggle. And you just got to realize that everybody does go through the same thing, and knowing how to study, knowing how to build yourself, that's, I think, really important when it comes to this journey, because you could be lost in just copying and thinking I'm going to practice my way to the top. But then you're going to be stuck because you don't know the things that the foundation, the fundamentals that really could help somebody grow quickly.
During your presentation, you mentioned that you did little exercises to improve your art. Can you talk about those little exercises and how they helped you?
Those little exercises were pretty much looking for reference, and like in the beginning, you look at the reference for about a minute, right? And just kind of recollect what you're seeing and break down the image that's in front of you. Then you take it away and you draw what you remember within that 1 minute gap, right? So you draw, you can take your time, but just know that within the longer you take in that drawing, the more information you're going to start losing. So then after that, you take that drawing away. You put another drawing back up. I mean, you put that same drawing back up and you put it to the side and then draw by looking at it. What the interesting thing that happens again, it's the information that your brain misses, right? Not only are you telling yourself, okay, yeah, I need reference sometimes, but you're also telling yourself that, yeah, you know, those people that are saying our reference sucks, yeah, you're missing out of so much realistic characteristics that makes a piece so beautiful. Your brain can't make up a lot of things, you know?
You were doing drawings outside at the Richmond show this weekend. You drew a very large piece.
Yeah.
How much planning did you do before you started drawing?
Man, you know what? I originally had planned to do a spray paint, right? And I'd never done spray paint before. And honestly, I have to accept the fact that I failed, right? I failed the fact that I didn't practice, right? I got a little too cocky. That's the second one. Maybe the ego went in there and I was like, I got this, right? So I didn't plan it, so I thought I was gonna wing it. But winging it with a new medium, that's a different ball game. Now I could wing it with a graphite pencil, right? Cool. And that's what I ended up doing. I spent about 3 hours on this damn painting. Saw it, didn't like it. My wife hated it. Painted over with the white paint and waited until it dried up, and I got my graphite stick and just went at it, man.
Your drawing was so intricate and so amazing. I mean, like, I think a lot of people were walking past it and just staring at it because just watching you just look at the fine detail that you had in it. And I was super psyched to see how much it sold for. It went to a local charity, and all those paintings proceeds went to a local charity, which is awesome to hear. How did you get involved with the Richmond Tattoo?
Jesse hit me up. It was one random day. I got a message from Jesse Smith, and I was super excited. I was like, what? Me? What? Why me? Right? You know what I mean? And I started understanding like the whole idea behind it, just the line work, and I just do a little spit out. The line work, and I understand why a lot of like tattoo artists like Jesse admire that. And yeah, I mean, I was freaking super stoked about coming out here and meeting new people, doing something different. For example, the canvas. I'm not used to that size, so. And
plus, you're being exposed to a whole side of art.
A different world, man, dude.
You don't really know too many guys from.
Exactly, it was like
artists, guys and girls.
Yeah, different world, man.
I'm gonna let you go here in a minute because lunch is being served.
I'm all like.
Can you talk about tips for artists to evolve in their art?
Man, tips to grow, right? You have to experiment with your medium, right? A lot of people have a tendency to stick with tattooing, and that's what they do. You end up being stiff with that, right? Man, feel free to go paint, right? Or do some charcoal, go take a walk, something random to keep your mind, like, I sound like Bruce Lee now, man. But to keep your mind kind of away and give yourself a break and let that medium sit in the background while you're exposed to another medium. But you never know, within that new medium, you could learn something new from that could help this medium that you were originally doing. It's interesting, man, how we need to cross-reference a lot of mediums in order for you to learn. And you learn a lot quicker, man. You loosen up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If anybody's interested in following you or getting in contact with you, what's your Instagram name, and do you have a website?
I don't have my website, I think it's artstation.com/Gary Villarreal. But my Instagram, it's Villarte, Villarr. I sound like a damn pirate. TE, right?
Villarrte.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
And yeah.
Hey, thank you very much. We were super excited to learn about you, and I watched you draw all weekend, and I was blown away by your skill. And
Man, thank you,
I
dude.
enjoyed your presentation today. It was very informative.
Appreciate it, man.
So thank you very much for sitting down with us, and we appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thank
brother.
you.
Thank you, man.